What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we're back here with another one. And it's starting to be as usual. I'm joined by just Rhino and Havoc one because I'm out and about doing his thing. I think he will join us in a little bit. And there goes the homie Havoc. So it's down to me and Rhino right off the rip.
Peace.
What's good, homie?
Everything's good, man. It's been a kind of a bigger day than I thought for Dolphins news than I thought there was going to be.
Are you surprised that they didn't really do anything on the waiver wire?
As far as like bringing in other players from other wires, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I thought a lot of people were expecting that, but I'm glad we got the players back that we got.
Yeah, we'll get into the whole practice squad in a minute here, but one thing too is, if people remember last year, we made 5 claims the day before Labor Day. This year, obviously, we made none. We'll get into the list of full claims in a second too. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, the 5 claims that we made last year, none of those guys are on the current active roster anyways. So right. Light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, for everyone, right?
Different squad.
Yeah, so another blessed thing too is, and again, we'll get into the list, the homie Kirk Merritt is at least on the practice squad. That's good to see that they didn't give up on that athleticism. Big positive, because you don't want to miss out on that player and his ceiling and his potential.
Absolutely not.
All right, so let's get into all the players, because there was actually a Dolphin that was claimed today. I don't know if you saw that, Rhino, but let's get into that right here.
No, I missed that one.
Okay, so it was actually Cincinnati. Cincinnati released their starting guard from last year, and people were wondering what they were making room for, and they were making room for Shaq Calhoun. So Shaq Calhoun is now a Cincinnati Bengal. He went from blocking for Tua Tagovailoa in practice to now he'll be blocking for potentially Joe Burrow in practice. But, there's your list of we'll go through. I'll scroll down for you guys, but nothing really. Vincent Taylor Jr., son of Vincent Taylor Sr., former Miami Dolphin, he went to Buffalo today. But nothing really. Justin Hollins is still kicking around the league. That's good to see for him. Adrian Colbert was picked up by the New York Giants today. But nothing really shocking, nothing really exciting. And then let's talk about this for a second. And Rhino, our boy Havoc's going to wish he was here right now. Let's talk about this. Josh Rosen today was signed by what team, Rhino?
I think the Bucs. I heard something. I don't know if it was you. Yeah, it was an echo. I'm not sure. It was Bucs, I think.
So perfect scheme fit. I guess I called it, even for a quarterback I'm not really fond of. But not even to the active roster. He was put down to the practice squad. Word did come out today that apparently him and his agents basically were trying to persuade teams. This is just word that came out. We're trying to persuade teams to not claim him. And then apparently there were other offers to be on active rosters, but he turned it down because apparently the practice squad in Tampa Bay, according to him and his representation, is the best situation for him, which, to be honest with you, is probably the truth. So, maybe he's taking the growth and development seriously, if that there is truth to all that he turned down a chance to be on the active roster. But I guess when you're guaranteed the money you're guaranteed from the Miami Dolphins this year, you can go join a practice squad if you want, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. He probably could have found a spot where he might have a better chance to start sometime earlier, but to have the opportunity, not really to learn so much from Tom Brady, but to see how Tom Brady prepares for a game is really valuable, I think, to him. And I think the bigger ticket for him was Coach Arians. I think that's a guy that he can really benefit from, how to become a real quarterback in the NFL.
No, I agree, man. I think He's got one of the more quarterback-friendly systems in the NFL. And my thing with Bruce Arians too is, if in 2 or 3 years when Tom Brady retires, and if Bruce Arians is still there or a new regime walks in and they decide to move on again, I mean, that's got to be the icing on the cake, no?
Yeah, you know what I just thought about? Are they running like a Brady New England system, or is Arians like completely changing what they're doing?
Because I don't know. It seems like from what I've been reading at practice, they're using a lot of 12-man personnel. So, a lot of 2 tight end sets. So, it's going to be interesting. That's why I think Gronkowski and OJ Howard are in for big years.
Right.
So,
but I was thinking he kind of had a little taste with O'Shea. Maybe he felt, oddly he felt comfortable with it. I don't know if that's the kind of system.
And the thing is, Bruce Arians' system, it's friendly to pocket quarterbacks, right?
Okay.
Like, go look at Jameis Winston. He's athletic, he had legs, but he didn't really have to rely on them in that offense. Good protection. He sat back, good, quick developing routes, and then boom, and then his problem was on the longer routes, he was making the wrong reads a lot of the time, and he's getting picked off.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at with like Josh Rosen. I mean, good luck to you. You are now in probably one of the better situations, a quarterback who, if you really want to grow and develop, could be in, because you'll be learning how to prepare and how to play under Tom Brady, while in a system, like I highlighted, is pretty friendly to
Havoc,
to quarterbacks, especially in the pocket. Havoc, what are your thoughts on Josh Rosen? Havoc is muted and he's gone again. Technical difficulties. Goodbye, Havoc. All right, let's keep it moving then. I'm sure he'll want to come on and give thoughts
for sure
on that. But what do you think about this? Omar Kelly today said that the Josh Rosen trade is the worst in Dolphins history.
It's like I replied in the thread, Omar doing Omar things.
I mean, trading up for Deion Jordan was pretty bad,
Yeah. I always have a tough time making these comments with 2020 hindsight. It's like, how did you feel in the moment,
Yeah.
So
they didn't really have anything to lose.
No. I mean, yeah, you gave up a second-round pick, but for goodness sakes, we had no one last year, so.
Yeah, we just all knew they would lose. That's it.
Yeah.
They had nothing to lose. We just knew they'd lose. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't want that, I guess. I guess they wanted to try something.
Yeah.
To not lose.
So through today, let's look at some of let's look at some of the people that are still available after today before we get into our practice squad.
Yeah.
Because there's still actually some notable names that are out there right now.
Really? Actually, I didn't know that. Didn't know there were some good names, notable names.
Actually, you know what? Let's get into this guy shows up. Let's see if he's working. You hear it? All right, thoughts on Josh Rosen being signed to the practice squad by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I mean, I think it only secures what we thought initially. I mean, it's at a certain point, it's like I was saying earlier, that first round pick, Sheen is gonna come off at some point, and they're going to have to evaluate him based on his most recent tape and what he brings to the table. So when I saw that he was signed to the practice squad, I wasn't necessarily shocked, because if you're looking at a situation where every roster spot is vital, you would like to have him on your practice squad, but I don't know if he's a guy that you necessarily are going to activate on your 53, especially considering, he still has to acclimate himself with the offense and just learn the playbook. And, everyone says, you got to have the whole table set for him to be effective. So, he needs time to learn everything they got. But at this point, if we're being quite frank, is very fortunate to have a job in the NFL, considering his most recent tape. So I'm not surprised that he latched on with the squad. I'm a bit surprised that a practice squad spot was the best that he got. But just goes to show. I mean, the first round pick quarterback, the chances, the opportunities, they ain't never gonna dry up. So
I wanted to I guess FM throwing shots. Can't use that Wingstop Wi-Fi Havoc one.
You know, let me tell you something. That Queens Wi-Fi is something different at times. Just so you all know, that Queens Wi-Fi is it's a little spotty at times.
You're hilarious, bro.
Sunflares.
So let's get into it first, actually, before we get into all the news as well. Let's talk about the Tua documentary that wasn't today, okay?
What do you mean? I saw a whole bunch of racing, man.
Bro. I want y'all to picture this. I'm chilling. It's a good day. The wife and my kid decide, hey, they're going to go to my wife's sister's place. I get out of going to this family get-together, and I'm like, I'm just going to chill. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to do my thing. And I'm going to watch some Tua. Settle in, turn on the TV, and it's, what I'm about to, it's freaking drag racing, bro.
Yeah.
And we're going from a chick driving a souped-up Camaro to some dude on a crotch rocket to then some dude now driving a souped-up Mustang. And I'm like, what's going on? How many fucking races are there? And how long is this going to take? And lo and behold, it went on for so long that for the first 45 minutes to 1 hour, they kept saying, you're going to see Tua in its entirety. You're going to see Tua in its entirety. For the last hour, because it went for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, they killed that narrative, came back, and you didn't hear a word about Tua. I had to go on Twitter. And our quarterback, soon-to-be quarterback one, said, it's coming out next Saturday at 2:00.
Yeah.
Boycott Fox is what I say.
I mean, definitely misplaced priorities. I'm almost certain there have to be contractual obligations because I don't think a bunch of people riding around in a circle is what people were tuning in at Fox at 4:00 for.
The circle's entertaining. The straight line is.
It's not even a circle, bro. They're going like 20 yards and then it's over, bro.
Havoc didn't go through our torture, man.
It takes the pit crew longer to run to the drag car than it does for the race to go on after the guy has won, bro.
Well, it just goes to show, mistakes are made every day. Fox made a mistake putting on that drag racing instead of Tua, and I made a mistake letting a certain cable repairman named Hollins fix my service. So, it just goes to show.
He's moonlighting.
I'm like, you made the roster, bro. You ain't gotta. You dropped the second job, but he said he's got bills to take care of. So,
man, maybe the Dolphins is his second job.
You don't know. He doesn't know how many weeks he has, bro. Yeah. So they send him over the slot, and it's a wrap.
Yeah, right. He's like, I'm waiting till week 6 till I drop this job. I'm like, all right, bro.
That's pretty good.
I'm
like, damn, those Comcast benefits hit like that. All right, Hollins.
Yeah, they're benefits, man.
Yeah. Oh, killing me, bro. All right,
internet.
So here's our basic salary cap after all the roster cuts yesterday.
Yeah.
We'll go over this before we go into the squad and stuff. And it was on Dolphins Wire. Nice little picture. So the Dolphins' flurry of roster cuts and transactions came to a close yesterday as the team did the necessary legwork to get the NFL's 53-man roster limit by 4 p.m. Eastern deadline. The team still needs to finalize their practice squad and make any potential waiver claims, which they didn't. But according to SpotTrack, the Dolphins currently rank 10th in the NFL with just over $20.8 million in cap room for the 2020 season. So we've talked about this before. it says right here, the Dolphins' ability to carry over cap space into 2021 is helpful in keeping the team set up for a big signing or two next off season, despite the league's upcoming salary cap reduction in the face of league revenue sharing losses. And what they're basically saying is right now the cap is sitting at about 199 million, and they're projecting it to go down to about between 176 to 178 million. Mm-hmm. And basically from before the Raekwon stuff, like weeks before, there was an article out about 2 or 3 weeks ago that said we would be about 13 million over the salary cap next year. So clearly, you know what I mean? They're not going to pay Raekwon. Mm-hmm. So it should be interesting to see if they have to clear a little bit more if that number does drop, because remember, you got to allocate. We went through this year, right? We had 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and then all the other picks, right? Mm-hmm. And we had to allocate about 16 to 18 million for this draft class. So next year, 2 weeks ago, we were 13 million over, but we were essentially 31 million over if you just include the draft class. Mm-hmm. So numbers to keep in mind, people.
Yeah, I think it's also good to hear that in terms of dead money, we're not carrying a lot into the 2021 season as well. So it just goes to show, I mean, this is when you're rebuilding financially, this is a situation where you want to be in. You don't want to be bogged down by paying dudes that are already out the window, out the door. You don't want to be bogged down by having to re-sign dudes, possibly overpaying them on their second deal. So it's an interesting thing to consider, particularly, I think with Godchow, a guy who is looking for a new contract, not necessarily this season, but for the future. What does that hold? Because if we're looking to maintain our cap flexibility, and if we're looking to, at least make a run at maybe another free agent next season, being in that position with our core players that we've drafted, I mean, it's the ideal situation you want to be in for a rebuilding franchise.
Well, even better, a lot of teams are going to have to release maybe some good players, and there might be some opportunities for us to take advantage of that.
Sure. I mean, also, we are in a position where if we can lay down the foundation of, or at least just have a respectable season this year, I think a lot of us in the the Dolphins nation are looking at 2021 as a year where we really, look to put things together and start making the playoffs, but also making long runs. So see, Matt Collins saw EM too. So it's just it's just in any franchise, in any situation, you want to be able to maintain your flexibility. So we can go a number of different directions with this. We can fill holes. We can sign maybe 1 or 2. We'll maybe probably one guy on a larger contract. So it's a good situation. It's a good situation to be in.
It's going to be a really good situation for the Pats, though. That's the only down part about that.
Yeah, well, the downfall, particularly with the Pats, is they got a lot of cap space. They don't have a lot of talented players in their roster.
They'll have to spend it.
Yeah. They're going to, probably. I mean, they have to. And also, it just goes to show they always got a bajillion draft picks in the tuck. So, to be seen.
For sure.
What happened to EM? This man's disappearing like it ain't no one's business, bro.
That Comcast is hitting different on Sunday night, man.
Yeah, you got that Matt Collins Comcast.
Yeah, man. He's like, man. It's like, Mac, what are you doing here? Who's your biggest fan?
Oh, it cracked me up. But yeah, man, it's good to it's if they play their card right. I mean, there's going to be an influx of talent next year through the draft alone. So if they can manage to squeak in a notable free agent signing or two, I mean, next year the expectations will be in place with this draft year being into its sophomore season. But then the year after, 2022, with the second draft class with 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks entering its sophomore season, and this draft class entering its junior season, the expectations will really be through the roof. So Flores, that 2-year window that 2-3 year window is. That's why I keep telling people, when you look at what they did in free agency and with the draft, I get the whole rebuild, but at the same time, they've started to create a window for themselves,
Right.
where it's a legitimate 4 to 5 year window that they've created, where you look at the more lengthy signings that came in are 4-year contracts. They're going to be up right before this year's draft class. Notably, our 3 first-round picks are about to hit that. Do we activate the option, right? Because they'll be in their 4th with the 5th-year option there, and no, these guys like Kyle Van Noy and such will be coming off the books, right? So will Byron Jones. So Noah Benogany, they're hoping in 4 years Byron can come off the books and Noah can be that dude, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think essentially you can look at the Byron Jones and Van Noy contracts as the window.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
if we're going to build a championship team with these guys as our cornerstones, the length of their contracts is the window, because Van Noy is going to.
But you have to also add in proper drafting extends the window, because then next year you got guys who are going to be in their option year after this draft year. So, like I've always said, the way these good teams continue to be competitive is proper drafting, because you get players in place that are going to replace those big contracts where that 15, 14, 13, 12 million comes off the book, and some kid who's, in the middle or second or third year of his rookie contract, he's going to be stepping up, and you got 2 years of him on his cheap rookie deal, and then you can add those extra pieces around, right?
And that's why, particularly when we drafted Noah, people are like, man, what are we doing spending a pick on Noah when we got X? We just signed Byron Jones. Why did we get a quarterback in the first round? But yet they've realized that, that X contract and that Byron contract, at least when they're up, or if we move on and they come off the books, you're going to need guys that you drafted to fill in that void. And, we're, like I said, we're well suited right now, particularly if they are mindful about the contracts they give out, particularly when you talk about like the Shaq Lawson and Emmanuel Ogbah, essentially giving them, show me deals, not really being attached at the hip in terms of length with those contracts. So, it's real interesting, because I think if Ogbah comes out here and shows out, and he's going to look for a much larger contract when his 2-year deal is up, and we are in a legitimate like Super Bowl window, he may get a bigger contract here. He may that may happen. So, it's all about, like I said, maintaining that flexibility, and particularly when you have your high priced guys, coming into their early 30s, mid 30s ish, having a guy that you've already groomed, or having a new draft pick that can fill that void. That's particularly how the Patriots dynasty kept going. They just kept refreshing that. You wonder why they keep having all these picks every single year. They keep refreshing the stock. They keep refreshing the pantries every year with new blood. So, like I said, we're well positioned. It's just a matter of, can this core of this team make a run, a deep run in the playoffs, and challenge for the Super Bowl in the near future? It's to be seen.
Yeah. I like the mix that they have going on. They have the old with Godchow. He's developing with Wilkins and Raekwon. The linebackers have Van Noy to help all the young linebackers learn how to be a pro. You got Xavier and teaching all the young DBs what to do. It's a good mix they got going on here. I think they have a plan. I think, like Reason said, it kind of went, or implied, it kind of went a little better than they thought this offseason, and it's up their target a little bit, I think.
Oh man, we killed this offseason. I haven't seen an analyst say otherwise about the Miami Dolphins offseason this year.
Oh, it was strong.
Yeah. No,
especially if Austin Jackson hits.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you know what? And I think that's, of all of our high level draft picks, our first, second rounders, he's probably the one that's most slept on. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward because I haven't heard too many reports out of camp, and we all know, particularly looking at cut day, who knows what we've been told about camp.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Particularly when you look at a guy like Adam Pankey making the roster. I don't know if his name came up once all training camp. So, it's like I say, it's right now it's we're in the middle of the process, but from an organizational and more importantly, from a cap standpoint, we have the flexibility to make the moves that we may need to make in the future. So, like I said, we're well suited, and once again, look for Greer to continue that trend of, we just gave up a draft pick for Bowden Jr. Well, it was basically a pick swap for Bowden Jr. But, look for us to maintain that flexibility. Look for us to continue to stock draft picks, particularly, later round draft picks for guys that instead of cutting them, you get a conditional 6th, you get a conditional 7th. And then, draft day comes, you can package those picks together, you can move up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So look for us to continue that trend.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go into the actual roster. The practice squad, that's official. So here is your Dolphins 2020 practice squad, all 16 players. The surprise addition today was Antonio Callaway, who's an absolute athletic beast and explosive in the open field as well. Kirk Merritt, Matt Cole, Jake Ruddick, Chris Myrick, Derval Querez Neto. So that project continues. Jonathan Hubbard, Salvan Ahmed, Nathan Hawley, the former CFL Rookie of the Year from last year, Brian Cole, Tyshawn Render, Tay Hayes, Javaris Davis, Nick Coe, Kylan Johnson, and Benito Jones.
Man, a lot of seeing this practice squad, for me, it's a bit of a sigh of relief that we were able to hold on to a guy like Kirk Merritt for another year and let him develop. And probably for me, the most is Benito Jones, a guy, we don't really have another defensive tackle with his profile as a nose tackle, particularly. So to see that he didn't necessarily make the roster, but we still are holding on to his rights, essentially. Compare this to last year's practice squad is what I would say, because I see a lot of reason for optimism in terms of guys that can show up next year and impress, because, it just goes to show a lot of the guys, particularly UDFAs that we brought in, their time to show out was preseason, and we didn't have one of those this season. So, they can stay on, they can develop. You give a guy like Kirk Merritt with his physical abilities another year to develop, show you what you have. You have another year to see what Tyshawn Render can show you. These guys get another year in our training room, in our weight room with our coaching staff. So, I see a lot of potential from our practice squad, guys that you could very possibly see it on our roster next year.
The thing I want to point out to you guys is Antonio Callaway does have a 10-game suspension to serve if he is activated. But when you look at his profile, he's 5'11", about 200 pounds. He runs a 4.44 40. The kid's, he's athletic, he's explosive. Problem is, you can't stay on the field, right? So
yeah,
he had already been suspended in 2019. And then, so he was suspended also for the final 7 weeks of 2019. And then he's going to be suspended for the first 3 weeks of the 2020 regular season. So, we'll see. I do like that Benito Jones, Kirk Merritt, and Matt Cole made it. I am a little sad that a guy like Donnell Stanley didn't make it. He must have not really shown up and shown well at camp, just because I like his versatility, especially with a team that stresses versatility. But another name a lot of us thought might have got signed because of the hype was Tyshawn Render, but This was a very interesting waiver day because there were only, I believe, 17 total waiver claims, whereas last year there was over 40. So, you got a lot of teams. They just want to get these guys that are already familiar with the system they're putting in place, the offense and defense installs. They want these guys to go down to the practice squad so they can continue to be nurtured in the culture, in the system, et cetera, et cetera. So you can obviously tell the impact from COVID, which we've been bringing into a lot of different circumstances. It clearly impacted the waiver wire today too, which was quite surprising because another guy who cleared waivers, I believe, and I'm surprised someone didn't take a flyer on him, was former Iowa State receiver Hakeem Butler from the Arizona Cardinals. He was a beast in college. I'm just surprised no one took a flyer on him. But it was, and when you look at the names that were kind of claimed today, kind of crazy that Shaq Calhoun is one of the bigger names.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the wide receiver you brought up, he was a 4th-round pick last year.
Yeah.
So for him to be released this early, I thought, someone would jump on him, but Shaq Calhoun, I mean, at least for me personally, I feel the way I feel about Julian Davenport is kind of the way I feel about Shaq Calhoun a little bit. They're on, well, particularly Julian Davenport. He's on the roster as a backup, but he's the type of player, if you can upgrade, you're not going to think twice about it.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
I was happy to see that Merritt Cole and Ruddick made it. I was surprised that Render made it. I thought for sure all the talk about Belichick going to see him practice, right, Render, that he would take him. I mean, I just thought that for sure. I'm really happy about Tay Hayes. I thought he showed some promise last year.
Yeah.
He played decent.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Bowden move, he'd be on the roster.
Yeah. I mean, I thought someone would have watched that tape and would have gone, hey, why not? But like you said, Havoc, it's a really, really good practice squad list. The problem last year was our team was a practice squad, so there was no reason to hide them.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, if you're looking at, I think one thing that particularly had me interested was Adrian Colbert wasn't picked up.
Yeah,
he is a guy. He was picked up.
Yeah, by the Giants.
Okay, good for him. I was wondering because he is a guy that I think early in training camp, I heard a lot about his profile, and us, at least our perceived lack of depth at that position. I thought he was a guy that was going to come in here and do something, but kind of like if the only difference between Adrian Colbert and Josh Rosen is Adrian Colbert wasn't a high round pick, and so his chances apparently aren't unlimited.
You know what I want to see? They clearly see something in Dervel Queiroz Neto because, I mean, he's 6'3", he's about 324 pounds, but they keep bringing him back, man. I mean, and from what we understand, haven't they tried converting him from defensive tackle to offensive tackle?
Yep. Yeah.
They got to be seeing something. This is going to be a second training camp in a row, and I mean he's made that again. They have to see some athletic ability or some raw ability that they're saying, hey, give us a couple years and we can get something out of this kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think particularly with his case, because they're trying him out at offensive tackle, but he was a defensive tackle last season, so they're trying to find a place for him. I assume that either he has some physical qualities or character qualities that the Miami Dolphins have a lot of faith in. So, because obviously for him to be around, for 2 years now and not really even sniff the opportunity of being on the field, but for him to continually, invest resources in him. There's something about him that we obviously are not privy to, but it's good to see that, he'll get another year to develop, and maybe this may be one of those guys next camp where you say, oh yeah, I remember that guy. what he came in and just, started doing his thing to the point where he earned a roster spot. So he's an interesting guy to stay tuned towards.
Shake Money, do you think Kyle Trask will be a good backup for Tua? No, because I think Kyle Trask can be a starter in the NFL. He's a very talented quarterback. But I appreciate the $5 donation, my friend. Another name that stands out to me is Javarius Davis, because we brought him in. He was the roommate of Noah Igbenogany, and he was also his partner in that secondary. And we brought him back. We brought him in, tried him out for a little bit, and then we cut him. And now we obviously saw enough that we said, you know what, come be on the practice squad. So that's good to see. Another raw athlete. We've already highlighted him when we originally brought him in. Jonathan Hubbard is another name that stands out. Obviously, he must have had a good training camp, and with a team that's kind of, thin at offensive tackle, it's good to see that they got two guys that they want to continue to invest in, and hopefully, one of those guys can step up. God forbid something happens. I agree with you, Rhino, too. I mean, you guys know I had Tay Hayes making the original projected roster, and if it wasn't for the Bowden trade, he would have made it. He really, really stepped up in training camp this year, making plays. He played well last year when he got snaps. So did Ken Webster, too. So I'm Ken Webster was just getting burnt at practice this year.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, I love Benito Jones. Nick Coe was another guy who they brought in, tried him out for a little bit, and then they cut him. And then, now all of a sudden he pops back up now that they're bringing him back to the practice squad. So that's good to see, too. So I also like this continued investment in Salvador Ahmed because, I did some research on him, and there's a lot of comparisons for him to what Myles Gaskin was at Washington. So, I liked it, and it's clear, they brought in Bowden. I'm pretty sure they're going to use him as a slot, so that's the number 7 guy. In total, between their practice squad and the roster, the 53-man, they're carrying 10 wide receivers, guys.
Yeah.
Clearly, they, like us, identified the durability issues that Parker has had, Mac Hollins has had, Jakeem Grant has had, Preston Williams has had, Isaiah Ford has had. That's 5 of your 7, and all that's left are 2 rookies, Lynn Bowden Jr. and Malcolm Perry.
Yeah, I think particularly there's something, and I noted it the other day, but there's something interesting to note is the particular archetype of wide receiver when it comes to Malcolm Perry and Bowden Jr. Guys that can, obviously, I think they're probably slotted to be wide receivers in NFL, but guys that can give you running back looks, guys that can give you quarterback looks in certain packages. And we're starting to see a trend develop where it's almost like in college where you have a guy that's an athlete, but there's not a specific position for him. They usually literally call him athlete, or they'll call him flex. I think with a guy like Bowden and a guy like Perry, they're not just wide receivers. You look at the depth chart and it may say wide receiver, or I guess with Perry, it says running back next to his name, but essentially they are offensive players. They are in the running back room to some extent. They are in the wide receiver room, and probably to a much smaller extent, they're in the quarterback room as well. So look for, at least in my opinion, look for the Dolphins to use them in, I think actually Perry's going to get significant work in the slot. I assume
that's where he's going to be.
But look for them to cook up some interesting packages, particularly if you see both of them on the field at the same time.
Seaquarium says Nick Coe from Ashboro, where I live. Next door neighbor, ex-high school running back star, raves about Coe. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about him too. The homie Justin Pro Football Scouting Analysis raves about him as well. So I've only watched a little bit on him, but yeah, I mean, a couple of people I trust have said good things about him. So yeah, I mean, it's good to see. I agree with Havoc here in terms of the quality of this practice squad. To me, Nathan Hawley, the jury's still out because, we may have had Cameron Wake, but you look at how many CFL players have attempted to break into the NFL, and guys, we literally have found a needle in a haystack when you compare him to all the rest of the CFL guys that haven't worked out, man. So, what are you going to name? Doug Flutie, Jeff Garcia, Warren Moon? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, list.
But if there's one franchise that can break that, that can take a CFL player and give them opportunity to break out, I mean, you're looking at it. For those who don't know, one Cameron Wake came from the CFL as well.
Well, that's what I was implying, but it was also a different time under a different regime. So,
sure.
I mean, until Flores and company prove they can churn out a CFL superstar, to me, the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah, they don't come around much often, too. I mean, how many CFL superstars have there actually been in the league? What, Cam Wake and Warren Moon?
I just named them all. Cam Wake, Warren Moon, Doug Flutie, Jeff Garcia, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's your pretty much. Also, what's his face? Rocket Ishmael was also in the CFL as well.
Okay. I didn't.
Okay, okay, here we go. So my thing is, if I'm going to activate two guys from this, I mean, I'm probably looking at that Matt Cole, and I'm probably looking at either Benito, Tay Hayes, or I'm probably going Merritt or Callaway.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would have to say just keep an eye on the injury report in terms of who they're going to call for those extra two spots. That's probably going to be the primary usage of that. If you're looking at a situation where they're going in generally speaking healthy, I would say probably Benito. I'm just thinking of guys that can come in and just make an impact on some level immediately, and for me that would either be Benito or Matt Cole. Matt Cole guy can come in, pretty much contribute to this team on special teams right away. Benito Jones, you're talking about a goal line situation where you need some heft. You're looking for some more heft in the interior. He can fill that role. So those be my picks.
And Finn Strong and Shake Money right, Sam Iguavine. But guys, remember we said good players, right?
Oh, come on.
Guys who are out here making impacts, bro. Not guys who are buried on the depth chart of linebacker and on special teams. That's what I mean by that, bro. I'm talking about starters, playmakers, impact players. You know what I'm saying? Don't give me, some guy buried on the depth chart. But I get what you're saying. Guys are right. But, I mean.
I hope we never see Dick Ruddick.
Is he really in the class of Cameron Wake or a Doug Flutie or a Jeff Garcia or even a Jeff Garcia? Probably not. He's definitely not in the class of Warren Moon. So.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone's going to make that comparison.
Yeah. So,
Sam Iguavine.
You guys are right, though. You guys are right. There's a CFL player on the roster. All right. So that's your 2020 practice squad, guys. They're even continuing the tight end project with Chris Myrick, because if guys remember, he was a defensive lineman converted to tight end. So,
yep.
Projects.
Yeah.
All right, so let's keep going here too. Boom. Here are some of the notable free agents that are going to be available come week one, basically. You got
Matthews falling so bad, huh?
Yeah, I believe there's talk about let me look it up right now. Devontae Freeman visited with someone today.
Mm-hmm. I know Clay Matthews had consecutive years. He had injury issues, and he tried to, revitalize a little bit in LA. It didn't really work out too much.
Happens quick.
Yeah. Particularly talking about a guy, an edge rusher. Essentially, I mean, at this point, his career is essentially exclusively an edge rusher. So, if he's lost that step, it's tough.
Sorry to derail that reason. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's a problem. Go ahead, keep going. I'm looking up for if I remember what team he visited.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, the Jaguars. He visited Jacksonville today.
Oh, there's Antonio Brown.
still there.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. I mean, if this list came out 5 years ago, this would be like this would be like almost a Pro Bowl squad here. But boy, how times change.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
To keep it a buck, I'm good with what we got. You know.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not necessarily a playing or a skill issue with some of the names on this list. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, I don't think Eric Reed's going to fit in our locker room. That's for sure. Earl Thomas, I mean, if anyone can absolutely put him in check, it's Flores, but he's too old. He's got championships. Yeah. It might be hard to do. Devontae Freeman, we don't need. Tony Jefferson, washed up. Clay Matthews, washed up. Delaney Walker, Mohamed Sanu, washed up. Marcel Darius, washed up. Antonio Brown, I'm good.
Yeah, me too. Particularly, you're looking at Mohamed Sanu cut by a team starving for a wide receiver. You want to talk about people want to talk here about being upset about losing a second-round pick. The Patriots gave up a second for Sanu.
Yeah.
And now he's walking the street. So just goes to show you can't stay attached to what you gave up for a player. If they can't produce, you know what I'm saying? You got to give them their wings. Let them fly somewhere else.
Yeah, my thought is, hold on a sec. MMA fortune teller, bro, twice tonight. Josh Jacobs and Drew Brees, you stunned my moves. So I just wanted to say, screw you, bro. Anyways, continue. Go on, Rhino.
I had an opposite thought. They don't have a Brady anymore to cover up those mistakes. Those might come back to haunt them pretty big. You just can't just give up a second rounder like Sanu to get Sanu and then just shrug it off so easily anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
Look at the roster. Look at the roster. I mean,
to a certain extent, I mean, I will say not having one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history will impair your roster to a certain extent, particularly when you're talking about assets. I mean, imagine thinking about, you don't have to think about drafting a quarterback, at least in a starting role for almost 20 years, close to something like that. I mean, it's a luxury, and hopefully it is a luxury that we will have in the very near future.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Left arm of God.
That's it.
There you go, bro. Bro, I can't believe in MMA fortune tellers in the chat right now, laughing at me. Honestly, guys, thanks to the Tua documentary not airing, that's all we have. So I've dropped a link. If any of you guys want to join and talk about the practice squad, talk about some of the cuts, knock yourself out. But if not, we're going to start getting into final thoughts. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to potentially pile back there. I
think it's good for us to kind of shift gears, because right now we're in, week 1 mode now. We are the training camp portion is done. We are now into week 1. I'm interested to see, particularly, I think our defense is pretty well set, but I'm particularly interested to see the looks that we have on offense, particularly with a guy like Perry. Chan Gailey has come out and said, I want balance. And, I've heard some things on some other streams about, we run a spread. It's this and that. We're just going to be we're going to be throwing the ball all over the place. But I'm interested to see what balance looks like for our offense. Is it just, Howard and Breda? Is it the incorporation of gadget plays with Bowden and Perry? I was very interested to see, particularly with week 1, how do we fare, particularly against a New England squad, which, if you take their coach away from them, I think people look at that New England team in a much different way.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And Finn Strong asked if we can pull the roster up. Here's basically the unofficial depth chart for the New England Patriots. So at wide receiver, you got N'Keal Harry, Jacoby Myers, Matthew Slater. Obviously, left tackle Isaiah Wynn, then left guard Joe Thuney, David Andrews, Shaq Mason, Corey Cunningham, Ryan Izzo, Devin Asiasi, Dalton Keene, 2 rookie tight ends. Then the other starting wide receiver is Julian Edelman. Then behind him is Demiri Bird, and then Gunnar Osawski. And then the quarterback is Cam Newton. They have Jarrett Stidham as the number 2, but Jarrett Stidham is banged up and out, I think. Brian Hoyer. And then the running backs are Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, Damian Harris, James White, and Jacob Johnson. And then you kind of go over to their defense, and it's not looking good. You got Lawrence Guy, Adam Butler, John Simon, Brandon Copeland, Jawan Bentley, Shalik Calhoun, Chase Winovich. They got Josh Uch on second right now. Then you got Stephon Gilmore, Jason McCourty, Adrian Phillips, and Devin McCourty, which is obviously their strength. But I do think Kyle Duggar's going to get a lot of snaps this year because he's been killing it in camp. So the team is a little weak, man, especially when you get wide receiver. Like, the offensive line is decent. I don't think the quarterback situation is very
shake.
Cam, don't worry me, bro.
Yeah. I guess a question I have for y'all, and I guess for the people in the comments, particularly about the New England offense. When you see the New England starters, who scares you?
Nobody.
Cam, what are you talking about? I keep hearing about Cam.
Joe Thuney.
Yeah, I'm really looking out for Rex Burkhead. He's gonna make some noise.
Belichick spies.
Yeah, right.
Belichick spies.
Yeah, right. Double check those cameramen.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about. I'm not really. But the problem is, Belichick can polish a turd until it becomes gold, man. And that defense, even with Kyle Vanoy, Danny Shelton, and Jamie Collins last year, had no business being as good as it was in the first 8 or 9 weeks. Yeah. And Belichick was able to bring that out of his defense. And that's what this year they're going to just be heavily relying on a solid defense. And I don't think that offense is going to be anything special. I mean, you go look, who's his biggest weapons? His biggest weapons is Sony Michel and James White.
Belichick really makes you feel like he does in the meeting before the game. He hands out each team's playbook. They're studying.
I mean, listen, every 5 years, and let me just say this. He gets caught every 5 years, which leads me to believe, what aren't they catching? Like, if a guy like that I'm not going to go on a Belichick tear him down. But all I'm saying is, if there's one NFL organization that has at least one spy in almost every building, I bet on the Patriots.
Reason I heard from Antonio's agent on there, or I read about his agent speaking, saying he's actually suspended for the first 7 games this year because they cut him. So they cut him after 3 games last year. So those games don't count, and he's now suspended 7.
So basically, what you're telling me is he's a body.
Yeah,
he's a practice squad dude.
Because he has to be on the active roster for those 7 games.
Yeah. He was only actually served 3 games before he got cut.
So yeah, they need to actually put him on the active roster.
Yeah, and then once he's on the active roster, he's got to stay at home for 7 weeks.
Wow.
Well, no, he can serve the 7 games this year on the practice squad.
Wait, dude, you're saying that he can serve the suspension on the practice squad?
Yes, he can go to meetings and everything like that. He's on the practice / suspended list.
I thought you
But
had to be on the
No,
53.
he was cut. He was literally cut off the team last year after 3 weeks, so he wasn't with the team, which is why they didn't count it.
Yeah, but I thought you have to be on the active roster
That's
for.
not what he's saying. The agent's saying he'll be back in 7 weeks.
Yeah, well, we'll see what's real.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what? Even if that is true, after 7 weeks, there may not even be a spot for him in our wide receiver core. At the end of the day, I mean, you know, if anyone here is a fan of Hard Knocks, I am. I remember him from Hard Knocks, Cleveland edition, where he walked into Hugh Jackson's room and said, "What am I doing practicing with the second squad? Trade me." Which, you know, apparently wanting out of Cleveland when Hugh Jackson was in charge is actually maybe the right move for him. But, you know, well, it's we'll see. We'll
you
see.
gotta
With
also
him.
remember when Hugh Jackson was there, who was above him? You kind of would be insulted.
You mean like who was running the organization?
No, who was running first string when he was running second string because they were losing everything anyway.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's hard to keep track of who's on the Cleveland Browns.
You know, his numbers were actually impressive his rookie year.
Yeah, he had like 500 yards, almost
43 receptions, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, and he had almost
Oh, was it Josh Gordon?
600 yards.
Yeah.
And
Josh
Jarvis
Gordon
Landry.
just had the Seahawks.
For that
Look at
Cleveland
Jarvis
team,
Landry,
that's
too.
impressive.
Okay, I mean, to be seen. You know, we may be in a situation this year with our wide receiver core where we may not even have to entertain.
So are you saying, hold on, Todd, are you saying he's on the reserve? Did he say he's on the reserve suspended list?
Yeah.
So the listing is for players who have been suspended by the NFL. Players on the suspended list are not paid for their time suspended, do not count against the active 33, and their salaries are reduced to reflect the weeks they are suspended. For example, Justin Blackman of the Jaguars will see his base salary drop from 17 games of pay to just 13 games of pay because he's suspended for 4 games. Players can also have their signing bonuses reduced to forfeiture provisions in the CBA. In the case of drug suspension, this is mandatory. In other cases, teams will determine if they will go after bonus money. So, it doesn't say anything there about practice squad. That's the only thing that I'm...
Lawyers are paid to say what they're paid to say, so we'll see what's real.
Yeah, so are agents.
Yeah. Well, that's what
Hey, I'm just happy we kept Merritt, Cole, and Benito Jones.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of people were holding our breath, but then when you saw that there was only 17 waiver claims today, it was clear not a lot of teams were willing to take a risk in bringing on like UDFAs because there was no preseason tape. Yep. There was none of that to go off of, right?
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, every team has some restrictions on the information going out of their training camps. Much like we understand as, you know, on this program, we were constantly into the training camp reports, and I can't recall Adam Pankey's name coming up. So, you know, there's just not enough of actionable intelligence to take flyers out on, you know, UDFAs, guys they may not know about. That's probably why it was so slow.
It could be also because they don't have tape on anyone else. They weren't willing to get rid of what they know for what they might not, you know, what might hit or not. So,
but also that's probably aided the reason why we made the trade for Bowden, because they had already worked him out from the pre-draft process.
Right.
So they already formulated their opinion on him.
They had an interview.
They hadn't worked him out. They had scheduled the workout, but the COVID thing hit and they had to cancel the workout. But they were really, really high on them. And like Omar Kelly said today, like, I'm going to go ahead and trust Reggie McKenzie and that whole front office and that scouting department on what they see, because we were clearly really super high on him heading into the draft, but I had him more as a 4th or 5th round pick, not a 3rd round pick. So I didn't see him as a day 2 guy, but clearly the Raiders did. But, you know, like I told EM, this is what should get people excited. First of all, we now have 7 players on this roster that were selected in the top 80 of this draft. Let that sink in for a second. Okay, that means basically almost every 10 picks we're making a pick. All right. Okay, that's crazy. But on top of this, they loved him so much, all right, that because this is what I believe happened. What I believe happened was when Raekwon McMillan was being talked about, Lynn Bowden's name was involved. And basically what the Raiders said is no, because internally they said, okay, let's give him till cut day to see if he can do what we want to do as a running back. Cut day came, they circled back the wagon back around, boom. That's what went down. That's how it worked out. That's why the Raiders got their 4th round pick back, and it just ended up being like what was it? Bowden in a 6th for Bowden in a 5th for Bowden in a 6th.
Bowden 6th.
Yeah, Bowden in a 6th for
McMillan
Raekwon in a 5th, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's got to get people excited that they got to play. First of all, how many day 2 players do you see like this that are moved like that right away? It's got to get you excited to the fact that they've got a plan in place for this kid. They identified a kid they liked pre-draft. They weren't able to get him in the draft, but they were still able to get him before the 53-man. And, it hurt my roster projection because Tay Hayes got knocked off. But at the end of the day, it's obviously what's for better to the team because I really, truly believe they've got a plan for this kid, man. So, they've already seen what they've been able to do with Malcolm Perry. This kid's more athletic. This kid's more explosive. And this kid's faster than Malcolm Perry. So that's got to get people excited because he's hit a 4.38 before 40.
Hey, Reason, it's okay to be wrong on your prediction. You're wrong every now and then because you were right again about where our so-called quarterback was going to end up.
Yeah.
Josh Rosen?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you're right a lot, in other words.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I don't think anyone, even the most avowed, person that did not believe in Rosen saw him on a practice squad come this time of the year. So it just goes to show what happens. And I'll say it again, just goes to show what happened. And when I say you can't fall in love with these look the part all-stars, that usually means guys that fit the profile, the physical profile, but don't produce. You're talking about your Kalen Ballages of the world. But what I also means is don't trust the draft pick or the draft position because draft positions don't play. Players play. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, and it's consistent. Every coaching staff that has seen Josh Rosen play have told him to stop playing or have traded him. So once again, good opportunity for him to at least be in the Bucs training camp. Mm-hmm. If Brady gets off of the Tampa Bay experiment next year.
And pivoting back to Lynn Bowden Jr. for a sec here. Guys, I said yesterday, if you go back to my running back 10 show, my 9 and 10 guys were Antonio Gibson and Anthony McFarland Jr. And it was between those 2 guys and Lynn Bowden to fill out my 9 and 10 spot. And the reason why I obviously went, because there was talk about teams wanting to convert him to a running back, and that's why I was going to list him as a running back. But I ended up leaving him out of the top 10 because, what I said yesterday, he gained over 1,400 yards, but most of it came from standing in the pocket and then tucking and running it. He wasn't lining up like a true running back, and I think the Raiders were misusing him, This is a slot receiver / kick punt returner. That's what this guy is, man. He can throw the football a little bit like Malcolm Perry, so he could be a gadget guy. I mean, a scary thing for people to think about right now, a Wildcat offense featuring Malcolm Perry and Lynn Bowden Jr.
And Cole. Throw him in there too.
Yeah, man. But, you got 2 guys there that are – I'm sorry?
You think Tua will be a wide receiver?
Oh, do I think they'll line him up? No, I don't even think he'll be on the field.
Pull him out for that play.
Yeah. I mean, we saw how that looked with Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
He was out there, having lunch when they were running that play. So.
Just stood there, man.
Just standing there.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that.
My question is, and I'm totally with you about him being a slot, 100%. But why are they listing him as a running back on our roster?
You can't trust
Perry?
Bowden.
I agree with what Havoc just said there. Because remember, while they were working on Malcolm Perry in the slot, he was listed as a running back on the depth chart.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all the information we've got out of camp, I haven't heard a lot of information of Malcolm Perry, how he's doing in terms of running the ball. Everything I've heard is him catching the ball at the wide receiver position, yet he's still listed as a running back.
Yeah, and Eric Studsville, our running back coach, he highlighted in his Zoom that he hasn't even really worked with Malcolm Perry at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they just put him there for whatever reason.
Yeah. Don't believe the hype.
You needed a slot body, right? Once we lost Hearns, and because really the only other guy on the slot, I don't care what people say. I don't like Grant in the slot because of his size. He's gonna get over a 17 game season. He's gonna get killed, bro. By the time the playoffs roll around, the guy's gonna be rolling onto the field on a stretcher, bro. He's just, I know he's strong, but at the same time, when you look at the size of his body, there's just bigger men and bigger individuals out there that'll take his head off, bro.
Just as strong.
Yeah, coming across that field, even stronger, right? So, yeah, man, I'm like, so to me, the only other true slot behind Perry right now, well, obviously Bowden, but before that was, I really looked at it, and to me, it was only really Isaiah Ford and Malcolm Perry. Because, again, I don't trust, Grant made his money at Texas Tech on the boundary, not in the slot. And he doesn't have good enough technique with his hands. He gets bumped off the line too easily because he's not explosive enough off of it. I'm just, in the slot, you're going to get killed, bro. They're going to bump you, and then when you get loose, a linebackers are going to come and kill you and take your career away from you, bro. So, and you know what, NYC Kane? I wouldn't even use kickoffs and punts for Grant. This is where I'd be using Matt Cole. Or Lynn Bowden Jr. That's who I would be giving the work to, man.
Yeah,
Iggy after that.
And let's be clear, we tried that. We tried kickoffs and punts with Grant, and the same reason why he isn't doing that anymore is the same reason why he's not particularly well placed as a slot receiver, outside of just initial separation, which he hasn't been able to display as a strong suit. It's hands. That is always, outside of injuries, that is something that has always followed Jakeem Grant is, in a crucial moment when the pass is on time, on the money, do you trust him? Do you trust his hands in that type of situation? I understand he has a big play potential, but he hasn't necessarily shown the intangibles that you'd look for from a slot guy. And he does have the physical makeup of a guy you'd want on punt and kick returns, but we tried that.
Yeah, he screams.
There's a reason why we don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and Tim A says, I'm a University of.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, sorry. I'll let you go, Shake Money. Just give me 1 sec. I'll just read this off. Tim A says, I'm a University of Kentucky fan. I've watched Bowden for 3 years. He never played running back at University of Kentucky. The last time he played running back, he was in the 9th grade. Again, Raiders weren't using him properly. We benefited. Go ahead, Shake.
They also have Preston Williams as on the depth chart as punt returner number 1, which is kind of concerning.
Yeah, that's something the fan base does not want to see.
Yeah, I'm good on that. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go down that memory lane, bro.
I agree.
So, I mean, but yeah, man. I think this year with the way this roster's shaping up, and the one thing I wanted to highlight too, Lynn Bowden, he's got that Alabama receiver size. He's not overly big. He's explosive. He's 5'11", a little over 200 pounds, but he's explosive when he gets the ball. And again, that's a perfect guy you use out of the slot and run slants with. Just get the ball in his hands, let him work his magic, bro. So that, I look at Malcolm Perry. Man, if Malcolm Perry had 4.4 speed, he'd be the perfect Alabama type of receiver too.
Yeah, I think particularly with Bowden and Perry, you're looking at guys where you look at their college career, they were the offense. like if they didn't have a good day, their teams just didn't move the ball at all. So you take a guy with that profile that can do, once again, versatility. It's not just a priority on the defensive side of the ball. Apparently, it's on the offensive side. They're trying to brew something up, try and once again keep other teams off balance. Much like how the defense, with people talk about their, this amoeba defense that we're looking to deploy. Once again, you got guys like Bowden and Perry come on the field. You don't know what's coming, and on a team that isn't high on star power, having guys that can bring that air of unpredictability, that's crucial.
And one thing that Flores likes is, being that he's a very situational football type of guy, I could see Perry being for short field and Bowden being for long field situations, being in the game.
I mean, it goes to show. Also, Bowden, he still has to learn the plays. He still has to get into the playbook and all that. So
I think they got one play for him.
You think so?
Slant, slant right, slant left, bubble screen. That's
bubble screen. Yeah, I was going to say bubble screen.
Hey, still have to learn terminology.
Yeah. Or the Fitz can just tell them slant right, slant left when they're in the huddle.
You know what? I hope we don't run our offense like that again.
No, I'm just saying for him. Yeah. For him.
I got you. Yeah, that is not ideal. Fitz saying, you do this, like Fitz is writing the plays on his hand. Yeah. You do this, you do that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is he's gonna take a few weeks till you see him explode, I think. But again, all it takes is one play in the open field and he's on everyone's radar.
Yep.
Confidence. All it takes is one play.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I mean, it's exciting to see how this roster's shaping up. It's a little, I don't know, it's kind of surreal that we're only now a week away. Well, I mean, we're a week away from us playing, but it starts on Thursday night. For the it's kind of surreal that now we're not only did we draft Tua, but now we're about to enter the season with Tua on this team. It's kind of surreal to me.
5 days for football, 7 days for us. It's nuts.
Yeah, and the introduction of playing NFL games in completely empty stadiums. I know that they put out. I think that the NFL put out specifics in terms of the crowd noise that can be pumped in to the stadium during games.
70 decibels.
Yep. So I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how this looks on TV, and how they present this. I will say.
And checking out, he makes a good point because it's actually, I think it's deeper than just Wilson. I think if Bowden and Perry show out this year, that's probably the end of Wilson and Jakeem Grant. I don't think it's just one of them. I think you'll probably see both of them gone. And NYC Kane, we did highlight earlier when we talked about how people were trying to talk about character issues with Lynn Bowden, but then I was trying to tell people this morning it's all about pass pro, and then Mike Mayock came out and said it was a football decision, indicating that it was pass pro. So yeah, that was it. I heard that he was absolutely putrid in pass pro. So, but that's not his. He's not a running back, man. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they were just using him wrong, and you're not going to ask a guy who's like our subscriber said earlier, who hasn't lined up in the backfield like that since grade 9. Now you're going to ask him to come in and be a running back in the NFL. I mean, I don't know about that. In the circumstances of this COVID-ridden season, no preseason games, I mean, that's a stretch. That is an absolute stretch. And I think that's asking a little too much of the kid. But you know what? Their loss is our reward because we got a whole different view for this kid in terms of how we're going to use him. Because let's be honest, we're good at running back. We got Breda, we got Howard, we got Myles Gaskin, who basically ran Balaj out of town. It only took him 1.8 seconds to run him out of town.
You forgot Fitz, too.
Yeah, we got Fitz. And then we also got Patrick Laird, right? So, and then we got Fitz, like you highlighted, with the ability, with the play breaks down to move, but also Tua when he comes in. Because, here's another thing I want to talk about. guys, I really think people are underestimating how clean the bill of health this guy must have right now. Because if you remember in the second week, what were we hearing? He was evading pressure, the 25-yard run. He was throwing touchdowns on red zone, 11-11 red zone drills on bootlegs. I think they saw, from what we've heard, they were surprised at how fast he was. Remember, me and EM talked about this. And me and EM, if you guys go back to 2018, the LSU versus Alabama game when Joe Burrow wasn't anything to write home about, Tua has a 40-plus yard run where he separates from all the linebackers, the whole secondary. He's gone. Like, I'm telling you, this guy's 4.5, 4.6 on tape. And he, I always highlight his footwork. I always tell people, watch his feet. They're the things of magic. The way he can climb the pocket, the way he can move side to side to evade pressure. He just has great pocket awareness and a great sense in the pocket. And you add in that athletic ability. I think they saw him obviously getting better as getting more acclimated with the speed, getting more acclimated with but at the end of the day, speed, you won't know full on until it's live action. But he's getting more acclimated with the playbook. If you listen what Eric Rowe said, he said he was starting to notice Tua was using his eyes a lot better as he was getting more comfortable. Eric Rowe said that, which is a thing I've highlighted, his ability to manipulate people with his eyes, defenders with his eyes. You could tell, I think they were seeing him start to settle in, not only as a passer, but they saw the athletic ability. They saw how healthy he looked 11 months removed from the injury. And they were like, yo, it's time to move on, man. He, from what we sound of it, even on his bad days, Joe Chad and all these other guys, they were still highlighting the ball placement, the anticipation, the accuracy that was advertised at Alabama. They were all even still highlighting that on his bad days. And that's something to keep in mind because Havoc said earlier, and me and EM have had this conversation privately, don't think for a minute, especially the Dolphins, who followed every restriction put in place to the damn dotted I and crossed T, not like other teams who were live streaming practices and even in the last couple of weeks have totally banished the whole 20-minute media availability, and people have been there for the whole practice. Mm-hmm. We've stuck true to all of this, and you look at what's happened, you've got to believe that there's certain players that they're being quiet about. And I'm talking about, like, let's use my boy Kirk Merritt. Guys, they cut Ricardo Lewis, who, when we brought him back, was flashing. He even caught a touchdown pass at Hard Rock from Josh Rosen in the 11-11 scrimmage. They cut Chester Rogers, who was showing up in every training camp report, making plays, while Kirk Merritt was sitting on the sideline for 7 or 8 practices, nursing a hamstring injury. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like, I was telling everyone before that first 11-11, when Fitzpatrick took off before his mother passed away, Kirk Merritt was showing up in the training camp reports for the 2 to 3 days previous. It's clear they saw flashes, and then when he got hurt, they're like, young kids, sit down. Let us slide you to the practice squad. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was clearly a ploy. There's certain players you could say, like, look at Benito Jones. Benito Jones was flashing, and we were all surprised about Adam Pankey. We'll go back to that. Adam Pankey, we were all thrown aback by because, we heard more about good things about Keaton Sutherland and Jack Calhoun than we did about Adam Pankey, and those guys got cut.
Yeah, and I think it just goes to show maybe Kirk Merritt not being able to show much in the scrimmage, not show anything in the scrimmage, may have secured his spot on our practice squad, because if he would have gone out there in these scrimmages and been able to, show a thing or two, who knows what would have happened. But, we're also, I think with our roster, we're in a situation where I would have loved to see Kirk Merritt on our 53, but the fact that he's not on our 53 shows we don't have to. We're not being handcuffed. Like, we're not like last year where, you would look at the roster moves we made and it would look like an armed robbery, where it's just like, we have to play this guy in this position. we literally don't have any other options but to give Taco Charlton a uniform and a paycheck and put him on the field. This year, when you look at a guy like Kirk Merritt on the practice squad, a guy like Benito Jones on the practice squad, that just goes to show scrub season is over. Kalen Ballage filling out that application at Wingstop as we speak. Scrub season is over. Practice squad in Tampa Bay. Scrub season is over. Get used to it. Them days are over. Right now, it is a race to make the roster, not so much a race to find the latest guy at Lowe's that played college football. And we have to change our mindset in terms of how this organization looks at the roster. Because when I look at this year's practice squad, I see them stashing a boatload of talent for next year, or possibly to be called up during this season. So definitely, we're in a great position. And I'll say it like this: a team like Cincinnati wishes they were in the position we're in right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know?
What's up, Pyro?
What's going on, Pyro?
That's good.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fine. And I just want to say that I'm very glad Benito Jones is on the roster, man, on the practice squad. I'm very glad about that. And Merritt, too. I see Merritt is there. Cole, too. So, all three of them that I want is on there. And let's be real about Ballage. Wingstop wouldn't want him either. He wouldn't want him. They wouldn't want him.
Come on, man. Matt Collins, man, he got on the phone. He was like, hey, man, hook my boy up. Now, I'm not talking about with the 10-piece. I'm talking about a cashier job.
But let's be real.
I went to the Wingstop where Ballage was working. He was only able to make 1.8 wings per
Bro, he only worked 1.8 hours before he filed workers' comp.
But let's be honest here, though. As soon on Ballage's first day, he fumbled the wings, man. all those garlic parmesan wasted.
All that garlic. Hey, this is what I'm glad Matt Collins made the roster, but who's gonna show the likes of Kalen Ballage the ways of the lemon pepper? Who's gonna show? Who's gonna put him in a position where he can make perhaps more than 1.8 wings per hour? It's to be seen. Because from my estimation, if you averaging less than 2 yards per carry, and you got bad hamstrings, bro, you and me and Kalen Ballage are looking for similar jobs right now. I'll say it like that.
But Havoc.
And I can't run.
You also forgot he can't catch either.
Yeah, bro. That's the thing. And I've highlighted this. I kept hearing, he's got great hands. He's got such good hands. I'm like, first of all, didn't see this on tape. Then he comes out and a T-Rex has better hands than him. All right. Like, what's going on here, bro? And like, this is what I said to to EM. My whole thing here is, let's be honest. You got an athlete who's a football player, not a football player that's an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes the most sense, particularly you're talking, and here's my thing, particularly when it comes to certain segments of the Dolphins nation, is the caping for guys that have shown you absolutely nothing. There were talks of, Kalen Ballage is going to come back, refresh, recharge, looking to take nothing but orders at Wingstop.
Yep.
Josh Rose, he's going to come out here and set this thing on fire. He ain't set nothing on fire. At a certain point,
just his position on the team.
Look, yeah, nothing except the depth chart card.
He's setting the practice squad on fire right now.
At a certain point, you got.
We might got this all wrong though, guys, because they're in Miami, and Busso the homie Busso just gave me the idea here. Matt Collins and Kalen Ballage may end up at Magic City cooking up them wings, serving them to Lou Williams, bro. All right. They might be making the Magic City wings, not even those Wingstop wings, bro.
Man,
Magic City special.
Lou Williams is a legend, man. He literally said, man, I got hungry, so I went to Magic City. That's how you know you a legend.
Yeah. Guys, that's basically we don't really I don't think we have. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to cover?
Well,
I think I'm solid.
I guess we can talk about Josh Rosen to the Bucs, but I don't know if you already discussed that or not.
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, kind of is what it is in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best situation for him.
Yeah. So let's go through for final thoughts once we hit that, because we're about to hit that hour and a half mark. Rhino, go ahead, brother.
Are we going to do on this channel any kind of season prediction, anything like that? They have planned so far. I mean,
I got. We'll talk about it when we go backstage.
Okay, so there might be. All right. It's going to be a tough week, I think, for us as fans, just kind of sitting, waiting, no news. I'm sure hard to believe, even less than last week. So we'll just have to get through the week and enjoy the Thursday Night Football and wait for Sunday, and let's see what happens. I'm excited.
And I agree, Adrian. Rosen talk should be banned from now on.
I mean, he's not on the team anymore.
Yeah,
that might be the end of it now with him being on the Bucs practice squad. That might be the end of it for a while.
You know what I'm saying? First of all, two things should have happened. One, when we got the update about the Adam Schefter, Josh Rosen's been released, we should have got Adam Schefter update minutes after the Miami Dolphins have released all the Rosen truthers from their fan base. And now, since that didn't happen, I implore all you Rosen truthers, he's right up the street at Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Go become Buccaneer fans. Go knock yourselves out. Go.
The New England Patriots fans.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Patriot fans. I don't want you guys in the fan base. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Go to Tampa Bay. Go enjoy the ride.
Yep.
Stop giving them false hope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Havoc, did you go? Sorry, I forgot.
No, not yet.
I finished.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I mean, as always, shout out to Australia. Fins up all day, every single day.
Nice.
Australia.
We almost there. You know, we've crossed over into a new realm. We are going to let the past stay in the past, and we're gonna stay focused on the future.
Yo,
so until then,
God damn,
fins
Adrian.
up all day. Golly. Spoken like a man who hasn't experienced a prostate exam.
No, where's it? Rosen be unchosen.
Yeah.
Scotty Joe 22. That's the theme of, guys. 2020's been a really bad year, but at the end of the day, at least you woke up today and Tua Tagovailoa is a Miami Dolphin, Justin Herbert's an LA Charger, and Josh Rosen was in the unemployment line for about half the day. So, I mean, it's a good day to be a Miami Dolphin fan. I don't know what else to say. Pyromancer, any last thoughts?
I have two quick questions real quick. Has anybody seen the Tua documentary?
Bro, are you being serious right now? Tell me you're joking.
I have not seen it yet.
It got pushed, bro.
Tell me you're joking, bro. We ended up watching drag racing for 2.5 hours because it got pushed back because of a rain delay.
Pyro must have been doing something else.
But anyways, let's move on.
It's a couple minutes. Takes a few days off my life.
I don't know, man. The prostate
Adrian
exam.
needs to come on one day. That's hilarious.
Them prostate exams be feeling like a century. A couple of minutes.
Well, now we're getting real up here. Sequarium saying I experienced a prostate.
All right, we falling off the rock. We falling off the rails. Let's get back on track. Let's get back on track. We get into prostate talk.
Pyromancer, Yo,
Oh, Lord.
I feel like we're having the doctor versions of Sharif on the show right now. Pyro, what are we?
Eye test is next.
Yeah, oh, here we go.
Yeah, that's too much information to put in the chat, homie. I don't know what to
I
tell you.
haven't seen eye test in a while.
Let me ask you this: isn't a prostate exam the brown eye test?
They,
Yes.
they go and yeah.
Pyromancer, what was your second question?
Let me remember.
All this prostate thought got you going up and down.
Oh, that reminds me, I got to schedule one. What in the world?
Oh,
Crazy.
Boy.
But I think I remember now. The trials is there concluded yet now?
The tryouts?
Yes.
Well, they can still have more this week if they want.
Yeah.
But I think you're pretty much done because you got your 53-man roster locked in. And I think they're going to be, you only got now a week to prepare. I don't know if they're going to add anything more. I think if you would have seen moves today, it would have been waiver claims.
So, okay, my final thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I already said it. I'm glad Kurt Merritt and Coles on the practice squad, we somehow kept them. I was very scared that they were going to get taken, especially Benito Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's just a miracle, man. Thank God that they're on the practice squad. Hopefully, no other team, sneaks and takes them.
Agreed.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. That's all I got to say.
Shake, 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 shake.
Shake, shake.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, this is a 3-day weekend, so that's why one of the reasons I'm up now. But I just want you to know that I really do enjoy your content first thing in the morning with my coffee is the best. And I love the direction the show is going in. Because of you, I've been exposed to more Dolphin community than I've ever have been on any platform. So I appreciate that, brother.
I agree with that.
So,
Appreciate it, Sean.
one last thing. If you do get a prostate exam, make sure he can't palm basket.
Oh,
You can't what?
Why?
You can't
Make
what?
sure he can't palm basket.
Stop.
Bro, man. How did we
Damn,
have we
Adrian.
gotten here?
Shakes, Adrian.
I'm not
Yeah,
looking
man.
forward
This is on you,
to my
bro.
first prostate.
This is on your collar. You started this.
Checking out, not really. I was intrigued by Taylor Gabriel, but he opted out today for the season. Other than that, I mean, Earl Thomas, but the attitude issues worry me, and I think we're kind of set right now because from what we've been led to believe through training camp reports, McCain had a really good training camp since his birthday on. So, and Busso tells Shake to preach.
Yeah, and also it's important to note, Bobby McCain, he knocked Kalen Ballard straight on that bus.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to you.
He needs a raise for that.
Yeah, right.
Yep. And guys, there's 127 in the room right now. Smash that like button. I haven't even looked where we are, and we're almost about to hit 1,230 subscribers. So we're really already on our way to 1,300. So subscribe if you haven't. You're in the chat. If you'd like to donate to the channel, paypal.me/Phinside. And then if you'd like to become a Patreon, look at Shake Money using one of his Patreon advantages right now. Because he has access whenever he comes backstage. He has basically priority access due to his level. But Infinite Trauma, Rhino Sith, the original OGs, Fake Spike 94, Shake Money, Joe B, KL Day, Ramon Casillas, Seth, Mr. 2-Bits, and our new Patreon as of today, Miguel Angel. I can't see the rest of your name, but I appreciate you for Miguel Angel Hernandez. Appreciate you for opening your wall and becoming a patron. And again, you're on that MVP level, so you've got benefits, fam. Use them to your advantage. I keep telling everyone, use them. And KAO Day is really the only one, to his credit, that suggested even show topics. So they're there, guys. You use them. I check it daily. I get the emails. Holla at me. Other than that,
what can I suggest them at? Your email? Can I do your Twitter or DM you on Instagram or Twitter for a suggestion?
DM the best way You can do it on Patreon or IG, but the best way is DM my personal Twitter account at _real_reason.
Okay.
That's because I'm on that daily, right? So like, and
Hourly.
hourly, really have to be, man.
Yeah.
I just cracked over 1,000 followers on Twitter, so shout out to the Twitter.
Congrats.
So yeah, man, guys, I will keep you updated whether we'll be back tomorrow or Tuesday, but we will be back Wednesday. We'll have Dudley Do-Wrong, Paul from On the Phinside. We'll also have Dante Colinelli making his glorious return. We'll have Mr. Ball Game and Great One DeVore, and we'll have a little bit of a round table to kind of recap training camp, but also give a little bit of preview and predictions for the regular season, Rhino.
There you go.
Can't wait.
But they're going to be kind of bold take predictions. I want to hear some of that stuff. So that's what we'll be doing. And then as far as your predictions, basically, guys, every Friday night, tune in here, and we'll be going with our game preview of that upcoming week. So next week, obviously next Friday, will be the Patriots versus the Dolphins preview. But we will also be doing week-by-week game predictions.
Can't wait.
So
Don't forget Sundays.
Yep, and we'll also have other segments for that Friday show that I've already got lined up and in mind. So it's going to be, even if there are no news drops, it's going to be a packed show. And then Sundays, guys, starting next Sunday, a half hour after that Dolphins game ends, guys, come out on here and we will be going live for post-game recap and analysis. Like I've said before, it's going to be the first year I'm taking notes while I'm watching the game live. Usually I take notes while I'm watching after the fact, but I've got to watch it live so I can come on here and talk about it. And then we'll be doing that for about the first 30, 45 minutes, and then we'll be opening it up to all of you guys to come on. And like I say, you can either celebrate the victory or vent about the loss. It's up to you. So it's going to basically be a post-game analysis, recap, and call-in show for all of you guys to be involved. So tune in right here, because the more of you that go on, the closer we'll be going to when Sunday Night Football starts. So I'm down. I'm prepared. The wife knows what's good. We're ready to go from 4:30 p.m. till opening kickoff, basically, on Sunday Night Football, if we get enough interaction with you guys. So just be involved is all I can say, because that Sunday show, man, that's going to be your guys' time to shine with either your reactions or your thoughts and your own analysis. So
I have a question. I have this tradition. I get this. It's called Blue Nun Sparkling. It has 24 little carrot gold flakes. One of my traditions is whenever the Dolphins get their first win, I pop that bottle. Would you mind if I pop it on live on the stream?
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
You just can't drink it though.
Yeah, that's what's up. And I have a tradition.
No, you can. All you do is off screen pour it into a mug and then bring it back to your mouth and drink it.
You would never do anything like that, Reason.
Nope.
Huh?
Nope.
Hopefully somebody brings a Wingstop combo.
That's another Sunday tradition I like is Wingstop and a prostate exam. All the hits.
Oh, God.
Yo, shout out to the homie. I hope I'm saying your name right, Busso, because he's been showing up a lot lately. Appreciate the love, man. Yeah, man, just putting in the work, creating the content for you guys. Enjoy it while it lasts, basically, because you never know if we got tomorrow.
Has anybody seen Dolphins social media with they're having photo shoot with the uniform?
Mm-hmm.
Have they dropped them?
Yeah, they're having like a photo shoot. I think it was one.
Yeah, I know. I saw it today. I dropped a couple of the photos. Did they drop the actual photos?
No, they just got like a video of them
behind the scenes,
like a behind the scenes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see the Devon Godshot one right now, but like I've seen you in the uniform. I'm good.
They need to keep the Shula patch on there.
Yo, it looks fire, eh?
Yep.
Like it looks super, super fire, man.
I like that.
It needs to stay on forever.
Yo, you know what the thing? Like I tell Liam, see, I think Baker's willingness to learn And I think he just seems like a fun, good person. They like having around. Like, I think that's why he's sticking out beyond a guy like Raekwon. You add in, he's obviously more, and he's obviously more athletic than Raekwon as well, too, right? Like, I just think he's a legitimate good person. I think his continuing willingness to learn and adapt to what the coaches ask him. He's a team player, bro. You got to team player. I think they want to keep that around, man.
I think Flo has a plan for him. I really do.
And reason, I believe his teammates feed off his energy too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. And just to keep it a buck, I mean, Brian Flores has shown if you're going to come around here complain every day, you can complain somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's a team player, basically.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I want you guys to see if you can guess the player. Let's play a game right now before we get out of here, okay? We're going to call this Guess the Player, all right?
Rosen.
I'm going to fail.
No, they have to be an NFL player.
They have to be an NFL player. But I'm going to show you them as a kid. That's the kicker.
Okay.
What do you mean? What's wrong, bro?
But this is real. You're not. These are real pictures.
Yeah, these are real pictures. But why are you all nervous, bro?
I'm not good with players with photos of them young.
We know your meme game, bro. We know your meme game.
It's not a meme.
Okay.
But it's kind of a troll. Okay, so name this player as a kid, guys, and in the comments if you want to get involved. Who's this?
Hollins.
Is that who is that?
Stop.
Who is that?
I mean, that's
Employee of the month.
That's your new quarterly franchisee of the year, Mac Hollins. You know,
that's the employee of the month,
bro. But he's on the roster. He owns the shop now. He's got his own implantation. He's good money.
Now, who is this? This is the game. Let's play who this is.
Malcolm Perry?
Yeah, I was about to say Malcolm Perry. Yeah.
No. I think
that's tough.
I was about to say Van Noy, but I'll probably be way off.
Rhino, any guess, bro?
I have a player in mind, but I can't remember his name right now.
Okay, do you want me to show you guys who it is?
Yeah, I give up.
Yeah.
The reveal?
It's Myles Gaskins.
Myles Gaskins, there you go.
It's not Myles Gaskins.
So this kid, all right, is none other than
he's a lineman, I think.
The safety from Texas?
Mac Hollins.
Oh, same kid. I thought it was too obvious.
Why did you show the Mac Hollins photo early, trying to throw us off?
That's why I'm throwing you off, bro.
Yeah.
You're bad, man.
But I wanted to give.
He's had great hair for a long time.
Well, I wanted to give Havoc a look of Mac Hollins.
It's that weird hot grease.
Bro, I'm gonna keep it a buck. This is the first time I've seen his face.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
The hair sticking out his helmet. That's it, right?
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen the hair coming out the helmet. I've never seen his actual face. But
why you hating on Mac, bro?
Bro, I'm out here trying to hook him up with a job. What do you mean hating on him? If his NFL career doesn't work out, I'm laying out his options.
I think Havoc has Wingstop stock.
I may have Wingstop stock. What's that? What's so what?
My question to Havoc is: did you tip him after he installed your cable?
Yeah.
Not after the service I was having when the show started. Out here trying to sabotage my internet.
What kind of human being are you right now, bro?
Shout out to Mac Hollins. You're gonna have the best year yet.
He's gonna be Havoc's cable guy. He's gonna get in with Havoc's girlfriend. Then he's gonna take Havoc to this weird in the middle of the field satellite, and that's where Mac Hollins is gonna meet his demise.
You think that's bad? My cable guy was Balaj, and I only get 1.8 channels now.
I honestly thought you were going to say he fumbled the cable.
The ball.
Oh, man.
Score. Shake.
And here's one look for you guys. Here's a visual of your 2020 53-man active roster going numerically clearly.
Yeah, it was a nice little thing they did on Instagram.
Yeah, it was nice. They did on Twitter too. Killing it.
Man, Josevian's good, man.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Perry's clearly impressed too.
Shouts to Kayvon.
Who was 37? I missed the
Yeah.
name.
37, isn't it Landon Roberts?
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
How about that, Strobridge? I thought.
Damn, Solomon is big, bro.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah,
Oh my God,
Yeah,
he's huge.
So
Look how
wow.
big Panky was.
Panky's huge too. Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Matt Collins.
Matt Collins.
There he goes.
Uh-oh.
Agba.
Raekwon, baby. Lynn Bowden getting in there at the end.
Yeah.
Just barely.
You love to see it, people. You love to see it.
In.
All right. So, guys, like I said, we'll be back either tomorrow or the night after. Then we'll be back Wednesday night. It'll be me, EM, Douglas Durong, Great One DeVore, Dante Colonelli, Mr. Ballgame, and Paul from On the Phinside for a little round table discussion regarding the regular season predictions as well as training camp review as well. And then Friday, y'all going to be around for that preview show. We will be previewing the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. And then come Sunday, that post-game show, a half hour after that game ends, we'll be right here. We'll be live with you guys, and we'll be going over and recapping and giving our analysis of whatever transpires next Sunday. But until then, guys, you already know what it is. It's Fins Up all day, every day.
Fins up.
Peace.